Imagine this. You're lying awake at 3 a.m., heartbeats syncopated with the clocks ticking, while every failure you've ever fled, abandoned dreams, fractured relationships, the ghost of who you swore you'd become, coalesces into a single, suffocating truth. You are not free. You've devoured self-help books, clawed for validation, numbed yourself with distractions, yet the ache persists. But here's the blasphemous twist. What if the suffering isn't happening to you? What if it's a language? A cipher carved by your own psyche to transmit a message you've spent decades refusing to hear. Carl Jung called it the shadow, the exiled fragments of your being, pounding at the gates of consciousness like a deranged prophet. You've mistaken their screams for enemies, but they're archivists, keepers of truths too vital to discard. The paradox? The more you flee inward, the tighter the labyrinth constricts. The more you demand relief, the louder the silence grows. Why does pain sharpen when we fight it? What if your deepest wounds aren't flaws, but portals? This is the great Jungian riddle. The prison feels real, but the lock opens inward. You've been taught to seek light, but what if salvation lies in swallowing the dark? Keep reading. The next 900 seconds will dismantle everything you believe about suffering. Your hands are already on the walls. Now feel the door. The agony persists, not because you're broken, but because you've mistaken the symptom for the disease. Jung warned of the collective shadow, a societal conspiracy to exile discomfort into the unconscious, where it metastasizes into compulsions, addictions, the quiet madness of normal life. Nietzsche saw it earlier. All beings so far have created something beyond themselves, yet we've engineered a culture hostile to transcendence, worshipping positivity cults while feeding on digital soma. Huxley's dystopia, perfected. You've been gaslit by a world that pathologizes darkness, selling band-aids for bullet wounds, productivity hacks for existential despair, mindfulness apps to pacify the soul's rebellion. But this is no accident. Schopenhauer's will to live, the primal force driving all desire, has been weaponized. Consumerism, social media, even spirituality become opiates, ensuring you crave rather than confront. Sartre saw the trap. Hell is other people was a misdirection. The true inferno is the self you refuse to face, the internalized judge demanding you shrink, perform, pretend. Viktor Frankl's Auschwitz revelations cut deeper. Suffering only becomes intolerable when stripped of meaning. Yet we've inverted his logic, scrambling to erase pain rather than alchemize it. The horror. Your avoidance is the suffering. Jung's shadow grows denser each time you silence its whispers with another scroll, another purchase, another mask. The labyrinth isn't inside you. You are the labyrinth. And the minotaur you fear, it's been starving for decades, begging for crumbs of attention. You don't notice the chains because they're woven into your nervous system. Every time you numb a pang of emptiness with a dopamine scroll, every time you laugh off a dream as unrealistic, every time you contort yourself to fit someone else's narrative, you etch the prison walls deeper. Cognitive biases conspire against you. Confirmation bias locks you into echo chambers of your own limitations, while negativity bias amplifies the shadow's whispers into deafening prophecies. Neurologically, you're caught in a loop, amygdala hijackings masquerade as intuition, mistaking fear for wisdom. Culturally, the trap is fractal. Social media algorithms feed on your disowned selves, monetizing the fragments you've exiled. Consumerism thrives on your hunger for more, while ensuring enough remains a myth. Even education and religion, once bridges to transcendence, now often reinforce the maze. Memorize answers, don't question. Obey, don't seek. You've inherited what Jung called psychic laziness, a collective hypnosis where suffering is outsourced to pills, gurus, or political saviors. The result? A world of half-awake ghosts, mistaking routine for living, screens for connection, busyness for purpose. The cost is existential jet lag. You sense it in the hollow aftertaste of achievements, the quiet dread beneath small talk, the way joy feels like a fleeting visitor. But here's the cruelest twist. Your avoidance fuels the very system that enslaves you. The labyrinth regenerates with every denial. You're not just the prisoner, you're the architect. The rebellion begins not with revolution, but revelation. You were never meant to outrun the labyrinth. You were meant to dissolve it. Jung's cure for the shadow wasn't eradication, but integration. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Nietzsche's amor fati, the love of fate, takes this further. To stop fighting what you are, and instead become what you are, a mosaic of contradictions, a symphony of scars. History's freest minds did this instinctively. Van Gogh didn't mute his madness. He let it bleed into starry nights. Frida Kahlo transformed physical agony into surreal self-portraits that scream aliveness. Jung himself spent years dialoguing with his inner demons, chronicled in the hallucinatory Red Book. The method? Brutal intimacy with your shadow. When rage surfaces, ask it, what are you protecting? When shame burns, demand, whose voice is this? Frankel's logotherapy applies here. Suffering ceases to be suffering the moment it finds meaning. But this is no passive acceptance. It's war. Rewire cognitive biases by weaponizing doubt. What if I'm wrong about what I fear? Replace scrolling with Jung's active imagination. Dialogue with the version of you that died for being too much. Burn the masks. Let the Minotaur weep in your arms. You'll discover the ultimate heresy. The labyrinth is made of ash. Breathe deep and watch it scatter. Here's the secret no guru will confess. You are not here to heal, you are here to shatter. Jung's greatest insight was not about wholeness, but holiness, the sacred act of bowing to your own chaos. The shadow isn't a flaw to fix, it's a black sun, radiating power through every crack in your facade. Every wound you've cursed was a fossilized truth, every failure a misaligned prayer. The labyrinth wasn't built to trap you, it was a womb. You were the midwife, and the Minotaur, a stillborn god waiting to breathe. This is the ultimate inversion. Suffering is not the absence of meaning, it's the pulse of meaning itself. Like a star collapsing to give birth to light, your darkest depths are forging the singularity of your becoming. Schopenhauer's will, Nietzsche's eternal recurrence, Sartre's nothingness, all converge here. You are the void howling for form. The world's illusions shatter when you realize no one is coming to save you, because you are the storm they've been fleeing. So let it burn. Let every scar, every sin, every unspeakable hunger matter. The prison was never real, only your reverence for the locks. Jung's final word. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Not a better version, not a healed version. The version currently clawing at the dark, fists raw and holy. Now, breathe. The door was never locked. The labyrinth was never there. All that remains is the infinite, terrible wonder of what you've always been.